Welcome to Watch of the Month 2022 edition. Today we're going to check out the 5 best discounted watches you can get on Jomashop. Jomashop has a huge catalog of really interesting, really affordable watches, and I asked you guys to select the best watches there and recommend them to me. And today we're going to go through that list and see what you guys picked. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to Just a Watch. My name's Dave and I live in Japan, and this is a channel all about budget watch collecting. Every month we're going to take a look at the best watches in a given category, and this year our price range is going to be $350 or less. So this is one of my favorite segments because I get to get your input. Oftentimes you guys will point out watches that I wasn't aware of, and it's just a great way to kind of bring to the forefront some really great affordable watches. Now this month's video is kind of sponsored by Jomashop. They provided 2 $350 gift cards to me. One of them was the prize for a giveaway, so one of you guys actually won the watch that you suggested. And the other one was for me to purchase a watch from Jomashop to show to you guys here today, kind of my pick for my favorite of their best watch under $350 that they have. Now, other than those 2 gift cards, Jomashop didn't provide any compensation for this review. However, I will be leaving links to all of these watches down below in the description where you can go and purchase them on Jomashop if you like. Jomashop is a shop that I have purchased watches from in the past. I really like them. They've been great working with here on the channel. So definitely recommend that you check them out if you haven't already. More on that in a minute, but let's go ahead and start by looking at the contest winner and see which watch he selected. And that goes to Craig G, who said, I'm going to go with the Orient Triton automatic green dial men's watch RA-AC0K02E10B. A lot of watch for the money, solid Orient build quality, nice green dial, larger 43mm diameter for us larger wristed guys, and will wear even better with a floor clock crown, not digging into the back of our wrist or hand. So congratulations, Craig, for winning that watch. And I think that's an excellent choice. I actually own that watch. It's kind of like the big brother to the Orient Komatsu. It's very similar in size and shape to the SKX, and I really like it. I actually recently picked up the Komatsu, and I think I like this one a little bit better. Now, Jomashop has this listed as the Orient Triton. Normally when people think of the Triton, they think of a slightly older model that had a power reserve indicator and a diver's rating. That model has been discontinued. It's not available on Jomashop. It's really hard to find. This is almost the same as that watch, except it's a little bit slimmer without the power reserve indicator and without the diver certification. It does have a normal 200 meters of water resistance though. And one of my favorite things about that watch is the lume. It has absolutely insane lume, some of the strongest that I've tested. The only thing that's a little bit of a letdown is the quality of the bracelet, particularly the clasp and the end links. It's comfortable, but it's a little bit rattly. But other than that, it's a fantastic watch, one of the best ones you can pick up for under $300. So congratulations again, Craig. Hope you enjoy the watch. Let's jump into some of the other suggestions that you guys shot my way. Now, there are just a ton of watches available. Some of the watches that you guys suggested are insanely popular. Everybody knows them, and they are great choices. So I want to mention those, but I'm not going to focus on these ones because, again, I think most people are already aware of these. I want to try and pick out some that I think are a little bit more interesting, and that's one of the great things about Jomashop is they do have a really kind of interesting selection. A lot of watches you don't see every day, but I think I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the most popular suggestions that you guys made. Probably the most suggested one was the Hamilton Khaki Mechanical. Great hand-wound Swiss-made field watch, really nice slim size. It's one that I was tempted myself to pick up, and you can get it for under $350. Also, the Seiko Flightmaster, the SNA411, just an absolutely classic watch. I was really drawn to that a while ago. I wound up going with the Citizen Nighthawk instead. Kind of similar in that they both have slide rule bezels. But if you like really complicated, technical looking watches, that is a great one to check out. It's getting a little bit hard to find, but Jomashop has it for well under $300. And then the third one that was recommended over and over again was the Orient Komatsu. That one you can find really close to $200. And for my money, that's probably the best value dive watch out there. You get sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance, in-house Japanese automatic movement, and Orient's just a great brand. But those aren't the ones I want to focus on today. I've got 5 more that are a little bit lesser known that I think are really interesting, and we're going to talk about those. Before we do, just a quick word about Jomashop. I've purchased watches from them before. I really like them. I particularly like their selection of Swiss-made watches. They have a lot of watches from the Swatch Group. It's one of the best places to find them. There are a couple of kind of tips I think that you need to keep in mind when you are shopping there. One thing to keep in mind is the warranty. A lot of the watches that they sell do not come with the manufacturer's warranty. That's part of the discount that they're able to give you. You don't get the manufacturer warranty a lot of times. Instead, Jomashop will warranty the watch themselves, which means if you purchase a watch from them, hold on to the receipt and everything, because if you're going to need service, you're going to send it back to Jomashop and not to the manufacturer. There are some exceptions to that, so read the fine print on each individual listing. The other thing to keep in mind with Jomashop is their stock. It's safest to purchase watches that say in stock. If it says it's going to ship in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, a lot of times those times are estimates. And I have heard people complain that it's taken longer than they expected, and they kind of got a little bit disappointed with that. So it's always safest to buy watches that say they're in stock now rather than ones that say ships in 3 to 5 days. But if it's a watch that you really want and you're willing to wait some time for it, it's fine to do it. But just be aware of that. Okay, let's jump into the list. These are not in any particular order, but the first one I want to point out is the Orient Star Open Heart Green RE-AT022E00B. Orient really needs to get better at naming their watches, which I think is why so many people in the community give their watches nicknames. But this is from Orient's Orient Star line, which is their kind of premium line. It's kind of like Seiko Presage versus Seiko. You typically get a little bit better finishing, and oftentimes you're going to get power reserve indicators as kind of like their signature complication they put on a lot of their watches. This one's like a dress watch style. It's just a beautiful looking watch. If it's anything like other Orient Star watches I've seen, the finishing is going to be pretty excellent for the price. And with that, you're getting a slightly premium movement. You are getting a 50-hour power reserve on this watch with a power reserve indicator at 12 o'clock. And then that open heart where you can kind of see the balance wheel into the watch, so kind of a cool look there. This kind of reminds me a little bit of like a high-end Bambino. Comes in at 40 millimeters diameter, and if you buy it direct from the Orient website, they're charging $965 for this right now, but again, it's available for under $350 on Jomashop, so great deal there. The only downside to this, I was a little bit surprised to see this, it comes with a mineral crystal. Normally I would expect the Orient Star line to come with sapphire crystals, so that's a bit of a bummer. Still, looks to be a pretty awesome bargain for this watch. Next one I want to take a look at is the Bulova A-15 Pilot's watch. This is one that I think more reviewers have been catching on to. It's one that I really want to get my hands on. I haven't yet. I've come this close to buying it a number of times. This is a very vintage looking 42 millimeter Pilot's watch. The unique thing about it is that it features dual inner rotating bezels. So it has one bezel with 12-hour markings and one with 60-minute markings. And this is meant to allow you to track elapsed time up to 12 hours. So you align the 60-minute bezel with the minute hand, the 12-hour bezel with the hour hand, and then on the bezels you can read elapsed time up to 12 hours. You can also use the 12-hour bezel as a dual time zone, so very functional there. It's just a really unique way to cram a lot of functions onto a watch without including any complications in the movement itself. This just uses a standard Miyota 8000 series three-hand movement. It does feature hacking, and the style is just great. I love the style of it. Really classic vintage aviation looking piece. Alton over at Half Past Blog owns this one. He loves it. He's done a review of it. He let me borrow some of the footage, which is what you guys are seeing now. Okay, number 3 on our list today, we're going to take a look at the Tissot Courtier Automatic. This is kind of like a great all-around watch. It can kind of do everything. It does have a very much of a dress style, but it's combined with the sapphire crystal and 100 meters of water resistance. So you get a dress style watch that can really take a beating for everyday wear. It also features the Powermatic 80 movement inside of it. So this movement is a modified ETA 2824. So it doesn't have as smooth of a sweep as the ETA 2824, but it does have a pretty insane power reserve, which I think is a pretty good trade-off. This watch is 39 millimeters in diameter, so it's a great, comfortable size. Again, can function as a dress watch. And I like the day-date display they've gone with the day at 12 o'clock. I always think that's kind of a really classy, cool look. Gives it a little bit of extra character. It's a really great looking watch from Tissot that I haven't really seen mentioned on many other watch channels. All right, before we go any further, I need your help in selecting the watches for next month's category. Next month, we're going to be looking at the best JDM watches available for under $350. So that's Japan domestic model watches. So drop me a comment down below. Let me know what's your favorite JDM watch available for under $350. I expect to see lots of Seikos and Casios and Orients and Citizens. So give me your recommendations. I'll see which ones I can get my hands on. We'll take a look at them next month. All right, moving on to number 4. We briefly talked about the Seiko SNA411 and the Citizen Nighthawk, two great, very technical, complicated pilot's watches. This one takes that up another notch, and we're looking at the Citizen World Chronograph AT Blue Angels edition. So like those other watches, this one has a slide rule, but it has a lot of other functions in addition to that. You're getting world time, you're getting a chronograph. This watch also features radio synchronized atomic time, so it will set itself and always remain in sync. It features eco drive, so it's solar powered. It's got a sapphire crystal and 200 meters of water resistance. So just a really crazy feature set at this price. You know, pound for pound, I think it offers more features than either the Seiko Flightmaster or the Citizen Nighthawk, and it's not that much more expensive. Again, you can find this one at under $350. This is the Blue Angels edition, which I really like. I grew up as a kid. I actually went and saw the Blue Angels perform. They're a Navy flight team. They fly fighter jets in really crazy formations and put on a great show at air shows. So I definitely like the color scheme and the nod to that. This watch features a lot of influences from like cockpit design. You can see that on the subdials and the text. Very busy watch, very complicated watch, but I think it looks great. I think this one offers, again, just a great bang for the buck. Okay, before we go to the next watch, let me remind you guys to check out my website where you can pick up cool watch-themed t-shirts like this one here. This does not actually glow in the dark. I would love if I could figure out how to do that, but it looks like it does. Anyways, you can pick up this t-shirt. I've got hoodies and a bunch of other things at my website, justthewatch.com. Really appreciate it if you go and support the channel that way. All right, moving on. Now, as I mentioned, Jomashop also gave me a coupon to buy one watch from their site for $350 or less, anything that I wanted. And all four of those watches that I just mentioned are ones that I seriously considered getting. But the one that I actually went with was the Tissot V8 automatic chronograph. This is one that I've had my eye on for a while. It's one that a few of you guys also picked out and recommended. And that's because you can get this watch for under $350, and it features an ETA Swiss-made automatic chronograph movement. And I had no idea that that was even remotely possible. The only mechanical chronograph movement that I was aware of that was in that price range is the Seagull ST19, but I haven't had the best of luck with them. A lot of the ST19 movements that I've gotten have had problems. Also a hand wound movement, not an automatic, so you got to always remember to wind it. So I figured the only way you could get a really reliable Swiss-made automatic movement is if you're spending like over $1,000. But for some reason, this particular watch from Tissot is available for under $350. And the movement inside is very interesting. So I did a little bit of research on this movement. This is the ETA caliber C01.211. So apparently Tissot, which is owned by Swatch, asked ETA, which is also owned by Swatch, to come up with an automatic chronograph movement that could be mass-produced fairly cheaply to put in kind of more entry-level watches. And it seems like what ETA did was actually go back to an older chronograph design, the Lemania 5100, which is a chronograph movement that's out of production, and sort of use that as the basis for this movement. Now, the Lemania 5100 was known for being three things. It was known for being a full-featured chronograph with a chronograph seconds hand, a running second hand, a minute counter, and an hour counter. All of those features are present on this Tissot V8, along with the date complication as well. It was also known for being very robust. It was known as a movement that could take kind of a beating. And it was known for being low cost. And it looks like ETA has kind of revitalized that and brought a lot of those same features to this one. The chronograph layout on this watch is very functional and easy to read. You get a 30-minute counter at 12 o'clock. 30-minute counters are much easier to read than 60-minute counters because there's a little bit more space in between the numbers. And then you get a 6-hour totalizer down at 6 o'clock. So this chronograph will actually track up to 6 hours. And then over at 3 o'clock, you're getting a running seconds hand. Then of course, in the middle, the large second hand is used for tracking seconds on the chronograph. You're also getting a tachometer bezel, you're getting a sapphire crystal, and 100 meters of water resistance. This watch also features a very nice molded leather strap with a deployant clasp. It is on the large side at 45 millimeters with almost 15 millimeters of thickness. An automatic chronograph movement tends to be a large movement requiring a large watch. So from a specifications, build quality, and components perspective, this watch is an absolutely insane deal at $350. But where this watch is a bit of a letdown, I think, is in the design category. On this edition of it, they've gone with kind of a dress style with these polished indexes and hands. And against the black dial, it can be difficult to read sometimes. And overall, just the look of this watch, I find it a little bit underwhelming. It's not bad, but it's not really anything special either. So again, what you're mostly getting out of this watch is functionality, specifications, and again, that amazing Swiss chronograph movement. Amazing mostly because it's very cheap. However, it has also been running very accurate, and my testing is running at about +1 seconds a day. Okay, that's going to wrap up the February 2022 watch of the month. Links to all of these watches are available down in the description. Next month's category is JDM watches. Again, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think the best JDM watch under $350 is. And finally, don't forget to check out the t-shirt store, justthewatch.com. Got a lot of cool watch themed t-shirts there. Okay, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.